What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we will not be reacting to anything. Today, we will be reviewing the Rush documentary. What was it? Rush Beyond the Lighted Stage is what it was called.
Yeah.
So, we both watched this documentary. We watched it separately. We watched it, like a couple weeks ago.
Maybe a month, at least.
Think about a month?
Easy, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
But we both seen it, and we about to review that thing
Yeah, we've got enough requests on the channel to review it, so...
Yes.
All right. So, first of all, it's a Netflix... Well...
It's not a Netflix documentary.
It's a banger. Remember it? A banger production.
Oh, yeah, banger.
It said that at the beginning.
Banger.
Yeah, but we streamed it on, I think it was Netflix, on Netflix.
Yeah.
Who knows? It could be on Amazon soon. It's going to probably make its rounds. And apparently people have seen it for a while because they're like, man, I try to watch it every year. You know,
It's old. I saw some people Listen to this. It came out before their last album.
Dang.
So, yeah, yes.
Well, the first thing I would say about watching it is, if you want to know more about Rush, you got to see that documentary because it's in their own words.
Yeah, they're being interviewed. They're talking to the camera and stuff, and they got other musicians like Gene Simmons. They got the I don't know his name, but the guitarist from Metallica and
Skid Row, the singer of Skid Row's in there.
Pantera, a guy from Pantera is there. There's all kinds of people there.
The guy from Smashing Pumpkins is in it. That's true. So that's another thing is that it offers a bunch of different artists paying homage to Rush and how they influenced them. A bunch of drummers.
It was cool. It was really cool to see. Yeah, they're like the drummers were like, yeah, if you could play that, that's okay. But I think it was La Villa Strangiato. They're like, if you could play that on the drums, that is like, you're built
true.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that drummer when he said, I got to meet Neil. I made my way in and then met him and how awkward it was. And he was like, I mean, I probably would have felt the same way if a fan came in, geeking out on me like that.
You feel like you learned a lot from the documentary?
Man, especially for me personally, one of my favorite parts of the documentary is about the first 30 minutes because that's the stuff that you don't get to see. Those personal
I like
pictures.
them going through their old neighborhood, going to their school, going to their first gig. That was really cool to see.
Yeah, and they had pictures. They had
video.
Man, they got to start. I like
Did you
how
see
they started.
Alex at his dinner table?
Yeah,
Alex was at his dinner table. He was like all cussing at his parents and stuff.
He was because he wanted to quit school, and they were like, "Well, we think you should at least finish high school." And then Alex got to talk about his young self, and he's like, "Yeah, they were right. They were right. I should have just gone ahead and finished." But when you're young, you just feel so right in the moment, and they were just. Switching back to their or around that time of their beginnings is when they were playing in the church. Dude, they started playing at a church downstairs in a place called the Coffin.
And
that was so cool.
They said they got paid almost nothing, and then they went and spent it on cokes.
And I especially liked the them showing their parents, especially Geddy's and his Jewish background, and the fact that they're Holocaust survivors, and just showing how his life was so different, in a sense, and that makes sense how him and Alex bonded, and then how they how Alex asked for a guitar,
and we learned. I think y'all told us this, but we learned that on Working Man, that was not Neil. I think y'all told us that, but I did not retain that. So now I learned from that Rush documentary that was not Neil in Working Man.
No, that was that first drummer, right?
And Neil came in on the second album.
Give it up. Crazy. Hey, give it up to the first drummer. We talked about that in the car recently. That drummer might have put them on the map because we learned from the documentary.
I said they didn't need Neil to be great. I mean, that song is insane, and Neil wasn't there.
That song.
That song
is good.
Working Man,
and that put them on the map because when they went into Cleveland and they played that on the radio, and everyone at the time could relate to Working Man, and boom, they were on their way. That's. Moving on from the beginning and all those awesome, because we're skipping a bunch of stuff if you get to see it.
We're literally doing all this off the dome. We ain't got no criteria.
We don't have no notes or nothing. We're just talking.
Yeah.
So what is it? All the photos of them in the bars playing, because how they had to play, man, how sleepy they looked, and how they were just playing bar after bar after bar after bar.
Yeah, that was cool. And then they upgraded to opening up for bands, and that was cool.
Yeah.
Because that's when they were starting to get somewhere. Is when they were opening up for bands like Kiss. They were out there hanging out with Kiss, doing stuff for them, and then they were in the hotel with them, and they were like,
they weren't even partying.
No, they were like, all the girls were hanging out with Kiss and stuff, and they were like, they were in their rooms reading books and stuff.
I bet Kiss was looking at them like, these dudes are from a different planet.
Yeah, for real.
Can you imagine going to the best party of the year?
Yeah.
Every night of the tour.
And they just sitting in your
room.
room.
You don't do nothing. You're in there writing your next album.
You don't even go to the party. You stay in your room.
That's crazy, man.
Come on now.
I can't even imagine that. And then all those pictures of them with Kiss and stuff, all those photographs were so cool.
Even all the people paying homage that they got, they were all like, the girls never really understood or got into it that much.
They were saying it was all men in their audience over and over for a long time. That was so funny. I like the...
although we got some commenters that are girls in
here.
We
have some. Yeah. Oh, shout us out in the comments if you're a girl. I liked hearing Neil's backstory, because they went in his backstory too. What kind of a guy he was, and
I like that his parents were like, they were like, this is what you've been wanting, go for it. They embraced his.
They were cool about his.
Yeah, everybody else was like, it's noise, don't do it. I don't like this music.
I can understand. You may imagine people, struggling with their economics and parents and stuff. Then you see your kid, and you're just like, bro, man. Listen, you're not gonna be able to make a living.
But they couldn't understand how fire Alex was on the guitar. Because if I was there, I was your dad. I was like, "You gonna make me millions? I'll be your manager."
Thank you for saying that's so true. Thank you for saying manager, because that stood out to me in this documentary, that they really honed in on their manager at the beginning, and how their manager kind of told them, look, the drummer might have medical issues, and maybe this is going to be too hard on him touring in the future, and kind of directed them into getting another drummer. But that manager, man, he gets a lot of credit, dude. He did a lot for them. They said they said they change managers often. They did change later, but that first manager deserves a lot of credit.
You remember Neil's awesome, like, Forrest Gump Around Earth that he did?
Well, that was about his wife, his daughter dying, and then his wife dying shortly after. Yeah, the Ghost Rider
just
part.
Like Forrest Gump. And Forrest Gump, wasn't it because somebody died?
What happened in Forrest?
Was it his girlfriend died?
No, she makes it, to the very... pretty much to the very end.
Spoiler alert.
If you ain't seen Forrest Gump yet. All right, well, listen. Yes, he goes on a journey like Forrest did when he was jogging.
Yeah,
he does his on a motorcycle, and he drove all that way. But it's one thing for us to talk about it or read his book, but to hear Neil talk about it himself, and how he was like, man, dude, and hear Geddy and them like, we didn't know if we every once in a while we'd just get a postcard, every once in a while we would just hear something, and then they would cut to Neil talking about what it was like on his side traveling. And how he was like, man, I know it was hard for people probably to not hear from me or not know I'm out there. And then I don't know how they got the footage. Did he go back out there and ride the motorcycle?
Oh yeah, he went right back out there. Yeah,
they were like, come on with the cameras. I just like riding this motorcycle anyway.
Yeah, I just bought this Harley. You getting this on camera?
Unless it wasn't him and it was just a person doing it, but I got the impression it was him. But they did have at least one good photograph of him, on his journey. And that book, man, sounds super interesting.
Man, I think two of them got books. Neil's got a book, maybe one, maybe more, I don't know. But then Neil has his book of bass, which is a book of everything he knows about the bass.
Yeah, absolutely. They focused in on the songs that they focused in on would not be the songs that I focused in on though.
I like what they were saying about each song and album.
Alex's sense of humor is good through the whole thing, man. I think everybody has had a friend like Alex. You got to have a funny friend, man.
Yeah, he's funny.
He was a cool dude.
Yeah. But they were talking about he was getting heated backstage. He was like, I want to use this effect. I want to use this effect on the guitar. But then their manager was like, no, you're using
That's when they came back, and the guy was like, look, that's after because they went into the synthesizer era. They went into it pretty good on the documentary.
And some of the drummers that they got to interview from different bands, they were like, I love... Or no, not the drummers, but the bassists or whatever. The people that like Geddy, they were like, man, it was hard seeing him play a synthesizer all the time because that's my favorite bass player. He's playing a synthesizer.
That's true.
Yeah.
So anyway, they went through the synth stage, and then they came back. I liked how they talked about their clothing. They were like, man, we didn't even know how to dress. They went up there with the komodos on. What is that called?
That's some big robes.
They went into Chinatown and got them some like robes and stuff.
So goofy.
And I like how he was like, man, we didn't know. We just wanted to wear t-shirts and jeans, which they later ended up doing, and they kind of became themselves. later. And then we started getting the what's the comeback songs we just did? We just did them. One Little Victory, and then we did that other one right after that was so good.
I'm not sure, but they went into 2112. That had its own chapter in the whole movie, which it should have.
They should have, because that gave them their freedom.
2112, yeah, that one did. Yeah, and they were like 20 minutes. And they knew their band was about to end, and they did a 20-minute song. They didn't even go for 3 or 4 minutes to get radio time. They did 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's true.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that got its own whole segment in the movie.
I like whenever they were doing their Komodo looking outfits, and they were traveling with UFO, and then they said those guys just kept clowning them. They put their slippers out there at the mic and stuff. They were just like, man, you guys look like y'all wearing bathrobes, and they were like, and UFO, they were going out there in just t-shirts. Those dudes were doing it, and it's good. I'm glad that they later did they went to blah blah blah.
On that Rush documentary, that's the one where it said that Neil was the biggest Who fan. He said it on camera. He was like, I was the biggest Who fan.
Yeah, now we're rocking to the Who too on the station.
Yeah, we are. Yeah. Go check out the Who. We did what? Who Are You? And what's the other one we did?
Bobby O'Reilly. Bubba O'Reilly. O'Reilly. Yeah, we did that one. Yeah, and so for me personally, man, I thought that was.
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
And they were able to they had the rights to the music for the documentary, so you were hearing Rush.
All the credits were just Rush songs. Is basically what almost all the credits were.
I told you in the car, I was like, man, I watched the Guns N' Roses documentary. They didn't have the rights to any. And it was Slash talking about all kinds of Guns N' Roses experiences, and not one Guns N' Roses song got to play. That's harsh. That's tough to have to watch a documentary.
Yeah, with that one, they had the songs playing with album covers and pictures.
Yeah, so that's why as a documentary, it's so awesome.
Yeah.
I guess that's a review and a reaction.
We enjoyed it, for sure.
Yeah. I hope seeing us talk about it. I know people wanted to see us talk about it, so I hope that...
Yeah, we were getting comments saying we want a review or we just want to see y'all talk about it. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, we're hyped about it, as you can see. We thought it was awesome. And think about this. You guys who started with us with Tom Sawyer, it was our second video on this channel.
Yeah.
And, man, we didn't even know Geddy Lee. We didn't know Neil Peart. We didn't know Alex Lifeson. We didn't know. And listen to us talk now. And that was like 5 months ago.
That's through you all.
Yeah, that's right. The only thing that we did a month ago is we watched that documentary. Prior to that, all the stuff we learned was in comments, because that's one of the ways we try to do this, is get a band. That's how we're doing with The Who. Like right now, I couldn't pass the test on The Who. You know why? Because we've only done 2 songs. It's going to take a while. It took me about 6 or 7 Rush songs to really start getting, it
took us a long time to get their names.
It did.
Yeah.
It did, because their names aren't easy like Randy Rhoads. That's an easy name.
Or like Slash or something.
Yeah, Slash is for
them. It's Alex Lifeson. It's hard to remember.
Or Geddy Lee.
Or Neil Peart. Is it Peart? It's
we
hard
called
to
him
learn.
Peart for a while.
We did. Yeah, we know it's Peart now.
If you don't hear it, how can you figure that out? You have to have people they were sounding it out like the electric company. I got that old school. You don't know. Well, you know electric company, don't you?
An electric company.
Got that old school
cable guy, boy, what you talking about?
The electric company. All right, but yeah, then we sounding them out. I was like, they know what I was about to do. You. That ain't even a word.
Okay, we're gonna end it here. That was our review of Rush Beyond the Lighted Stage. We're gonna see you guys in the next video. Tell us what to react to next from Rush, and we're out. Peace.